Welcome, good people. Evolve Benton here, the Speaking for Profit coach. Welcome to the space. If you're here, just comment live into the comments. And if you're listening in the near and dear future, comment replay, hashtag live. Would love to hear from you. That always makes this experience of going live a lot more fruitful. I'm excited because I am back in my home space. I've been traveling the last couple of weeks. I went to Atlanta, Georgia a few weeks ago, and then I went to Austin, Texas, and then I was in North Carolina. So, been moving and grooving, seeing, meeting people back outside, as they say. And it's been exciting. It's been interesting and it's been fun. And today I'm excited to talk a little bit about a mastermind that I went to and the 7 steps to 7 figures, right? That's the talk that we are talking about today. I actually got this tagline from my social media manager, Ruth. So shouts out to Ruth. I really appreciate you. I was telling her about how I wanted to share some of my takeaways from spending 5 days with a room full of millionaires. And we came up with this conversation around 7 steps that I learned in the process of being in that mastermind. So the first thing is like, what's a mastermind space, right? I'm a coach that's being coached. And I believe that when we're doing the work with people, we want to make sure that we're also being supported by someone else. So about a year ago, I signed up to be in a coaching program that actually teaches you to be able to support your clients with building wealth, impacting the world. And people are doing different ventures. We have fitness coaches that are a part of my program. We have some coaches who are like hypnotherapists, some people who are doing wellness work, some people who are business coaches, some people who are marketing coaches. And as you all know, I'm the Speaking for Profit coach, right? So I help diverse leaders get paid opportunities on stages and in organizations around the globe. So I decided to join this program to, one, get mentorship, two, get community, and three, learn the ins and outs of being able to not only do this business in a fruitful way and make money, but in a sustainable way. So I've had the opportunity to work with my amazing coach, Michael Chu, the last few years, and it's been a great opportunity to learn his concepts and really the roadmap that he built his business and utilize that to be able to build my business. So we had a mastermind event, an in-person event in Austin, Texas, and it was called Champ Dev Live. And it was really exciting because I got to meet people that I've been talking to in this Zoom box or in these machines digitally and virtually the last few months and really break some bread, talk about concepts and strategies. And what's really even beautiful about it is that it's a range of entrepreneurs, right? So folks who are just getting started, who've only maybe made a couple of $1,000s in their business, to folks who are actually millionaires and moving into 7, 8 figures in their business and really growing wealth and scaling, right? Because it takes a whole lot more people, a team, management, and delegation to be able to build your business beyond it just making a few $1,000s a month, right? And that's one of the first things that I want to share with you all that I really learned from these millionaires was that the majority of them had a team, right? So I work with many clients who come to me and they're like, Evolve, you make things look really easy. It doesn't seem like you're stressed out when you're running your business. And that's intentional. I have a team. I have a team of people that support me, that I'm able to go to and bounce ideas off of. I hired a coach, right? I'm investing consistently into my business. So it makes it look good, but it also makes other people's business look good. So for me, as a person who really loves picking people's brains, I was in the mastermind really looking at those people who were hitting consistent 100K to 200K months within their business, like bringing that type of wealth in, but also building actual programs that actually add to people's lives, right? Not just making money, but changing people's lives and transforming them. I wanted to ask them questions. And I actually reached out to folks in my free and paid Facebook group and said, I'm going to be in the room with a bunch of millionaires. Like, what questions do you have? So, a lot of the questions I'm going to answer today as I talk to you about the 7 steps to 7 figures. So, let's get into some of those quotes that I pulled out of my time at this mastermind so that I can share them with you. Again, if you're listening right now, just put hashtag live in the comments. If you're listening in the near and dear future, put hashtag replay. We'd love to know when people are available and here live with us. So, 7 takeaways, right? The first one that I want to talk about is there's no such thing as a good investment. There's only a good investor. And this was actually a quote that I got when we did a financial workshop during the mastermind, right? There's no such thing as a good investment. It's truly about being a good investor. And what I loved about this is this concept of really having a standard about how you're going to build wealth and your financial independence. And a lot of people think that financial freedom is all wrapped into I'm going to make 100K a month and I'm going to keep profit and I'm going to like just work, 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 when it's really about investing in our lives and investing in certain strategies. So when I think about myself as being a great investor, I really need to look at every business venture or every yes that I mark off as a CEO as an opportunity for me to not just be a person who's working, but as an investor. And if I'm looking at it as an investor, I'm thinking about my capacity. I'm thinking about my overall roadmap and how I plan to get to the bag. What's the quickest way to the bag? And if it adds value to my life. So I need to have an equation that decides, shall I invest in this or shall I not? And it's not just the investment of money, but the investment of my time. So, for example, one strategy that I use is that I always want to be in the act of service as a CEO. However, I realize in order for me to be truly in an act of service and over deliver to the people that I choose to invest in, I have to set up boundaries. So I can't be a yes person. That means that I can't say yes to every speaking opportunity. I can't say yes to every interview. I have to be strategic about where I deliver my yeses. So for me, one of my strategies is at the first half of the year, I only say yes to speaking opportunities, consulting opportunities, and clients that can pay a certain amount, right? Because I am trying to come from an overflowing cup. So you have to be able to meet my price. If you're not able to meet my price, then I always dedicate quarter 4 to being able to really truly give back, go into organizations and speak for a lower price, or even create scholarships or opportunities for people to join my programs or to pay for the knowledge that I provide at a lower and more accessible scale. But the reason I do it at the end of the year is that it gives me the ability to really be coming from an overflowing cup and not do things under scarcity, right? So that's a rule that I've created for myself to be a better investor of my time, my energy, and my capacity. And I suggest and share that for you, right, is one of the steps of you moving from being where you're at now and moving on to a 7 figure mindset. So, step 2, right? Two people meet, the person that is the most certain will guide the conversation. And I thought that this was a really powerful quote, right? Two people meet. If I meet you and you meet me, whoever has the most certainty is the person who is going to guide the conversation. Often, when we go into the room when it comes to negotiation or trying to decide whether we're going to work and collaborate with one another, people think that the person who has the most confidence is the person who's going to win the negotiation, when it's really about certainty. And certainty is a level of confidence, right? You're confident, you feel like you know what you're talking about, but certainty is knowing that you have a solution to the problem that person has. And I think as a business owner, we're consistently in negotiation with whether or not we can really help and serve people. So if we are going into a moment and we're uncertain, most likely we're not going to win that negotiation. We're not going to get the price that we want. We're not going to necessarily meet a client that we're aligned to work with. So that's step 2, right? Going into a conversation with as much certainty as possible, which means doing your homework and making sure that you actually are prepared to talk about how you can really be in an active service and support someone. So that's step 2. Step 3, boring builds millionaires, routines build wealth. And I love this one because I am one of those people who consistently want to do something new, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I have like shiny thing syndrome. So I always see something else that I want to do. Right. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm sitting up here and I have a great application process. I want to add some spaz to it. I want to add something different. We don't have to do that. Boring builds millionaires. Boring builds billionaires, right? So it gives you an opportunity to build systems. We want to do the same things every day on a consistent basis. And most of the entrepreneurs that I was talking to that are hitting 7 figures on a consistent basis, they have the same routines in and out. And the reason that they've created that is so that their business can have the same routines in and out, right? If you want to consistently make the same money, then you need to consistently show up the same way. And I don't know why, like, I heard this quote and I was like, wow, this is something I've been hearing consistently my whole life. And for some reason, right now, it's actually resonating. But even as an employee, if you want to keep your job and you want to be there for the long term indefinitely, then you have to do the boring, tedious tasks of checking your emails, going to the same meetings, meeting with the same people, working on the same projects consistently, and you get the same output consistently. So it's the same thing within your business. If you see something that truly works and it's working on a consistent basis, instead of adding something new, do it consistently to actually see if it works. And I have this conversation with my clients all the time when they're telling me, Evolve, I'm not getting paid, I didn't get a paid opportunity. And I'm like, well, are you putting in the standards? Are you sticking to your business standards, consistently reaching out to people, consistently following up for referrals? Because we know referrals are way more attractive and fruitful than any type of marketing that you can do out in social media or any other world. Getting a referral is like an instant yes. Are you doing that? And a lot of times people will say, Evolve, no, I'm not sticking to the standards. I slacked off on this. And that's because boring builds billionaires, right? We want to have consistent systems. This also supports us in being able to scale our businesses, which is our ultimate goal. The majority of us have businesses that we're running right now as solo entrepreneurs, and we want to scale it to be able to even have a very lean, mean, and small staff, a few of people that can support you to be able to get the outcome you're getting for your clients, customers, and patrons, right? So, that means that if you're boring and you have the consistent things that you do when it comes to you translating it to your virtual assistant, to your social media manager, to your marketing team, to who your HR person, to your CPA, whoever you choose to hire first to support you in the growth of your business, you will have a track record of consistency that they can see. This also makes it easier for when you hire someone to solve a problem in your business to know where those bottlenecks are if you're being consistently boring, right? So be boring, build the systems, and be willing to do it. Number four, if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. Woo. I hope y'all heard that. I hope let me repeat it. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others, right? So, if you're a person who is consistently trying to do a new routine and do new things, and I know I'm that person all the time. Like I am one of those people who wants to try something new every day, and I'm about to be real boring y'all cuz growth is upon me. But you have to grow yourself first, right? And what I really learned from most of the millionaires that I was talking to, that on their journey to seven figures, they invested so much in their self development, right? So much about going to therapy, coaching, talking to people, talking through trauma that they had experienced, things that were really knocking them off of being boring and consistent in their lives because they were so distracted by some of the things that they hadn't healed or taken care of, right? So being willing to do the self development and really become a great leader so that when you are building your business, you really do feel like a CEO. You're not constantly questioning whether or not you're the one who should be leading your company. It takes time to do that self work and that self development, right? So we can't expect to lead everyone else if we can't lead ourselves to success, which is why I love speaking for profit. Right. For so many years before deciding I'm going to, okay, coach people, I was in the trenches myself trying to figure this thing out. Right, charging low fees, getting paid more, learning the game, learning the lingo, learning who I needed to talk to. And now we have built a community of people who can do that with each other, but it starts from within. So often when I'm working with you all as clients and students and lovers of speaking for prophecy, I will talk to you about what do you want to do as a CEO? Right? Because I've made decisions as a CEO, and now it's up to you as a business owner to be able to do that. I'm not going to feed you everything that I've done because what I do for my business might be great and it might be something that you can't necessarily do for yourself, right? So lead yourself, start with yourself, and then you can lead the world, literally, if you can lead yourself. Number five, failure is required for growth. Failure is required for growth. Every entrepreneur that I talk to that has been hitting seven figures consistently told me that they failed. Not once, not twice, not three times, but consistently. In fact, they put themselves in environments so that they could fail, so that they could feel failure and ultimately get to the next side of their goal. Anything that they won, whether it was more wealth, whether it was more freedom of time, whether it was the ability to be able to delegate some of the most stressful parts of their business, all of that started with failures that taught them, right? So, avoiding failure is not going to happen. It's going to be a part of the process. It will be a part of every process where you come out a champion. In order to be a champion and really win, you've got to lose, right? So, losses are going to happen, but it's more about how do you step into that? How does your mind shift? Do you shame yourself through that experience, or do you appreciate the experience and grow from it? It's not about the failure, it's really about the reaction to the failure, right? And the way that we choose to dedicate our energy and our time. So I thought that that was powerful, that not only did we have millionaires in front of us, right? Like people who honestly were spending time with us and didn't have to, right? Because that's what really more money gives you more time to make decisions on where you want to spend your time. It's not really about just power, right? And you just got the extreme power. You just have more decisions that you can make about where you choose to spend your time. Everyone consistently talked about failure being something that was consistent in their life, in their business, and ultimately in their growth. So that is number five. Failure is required for your growth. Number six, and remember we're going through seven, so we have a couple more. Know your numbers and your emotions. And I love this because I was really focused when I came into this year on my numbers. And I've been focused on my numbers. I've been being consistent with knowing where my numbers are at. And I feel good about that. That really has eased a lot of my anxiety as a business owner. But also knowing my emotions is important as well. And what I love about this is emotionality is all about growth, right? So you're healing, you're doing work, you're exploring different things, you're having conversations with yourself, you're having conversations with your therapist, your coach, you're doing all this work, and knowing where you're at in your emotionality when it comes to your business, your money, and your life is important on what type of success you're going to have. Because I know when I'm extremely anxious, right? I know when I'm extremely doubtful, and I know when I'm coming from scarcity. So that might change the activity that I choose to do in my business depending on what's going on with my emotionality. If I know, for instance, an emotional day is coming up for me, one of my emotional triggering days can be Mother's Day, right? Because my mother passed away. So maybe I don't position a really big launch or a really big event around that time if I know that there's some emotional work that I want to do around that time and not just be sitting there doing work and grueling through it. So, knowing your numbers, knowing how much money is coming in and out, and knowing your capacity, knowing how much energy is coming in and out, and knowing your emotions so that you can prepare yourself to over deliver and be the most successful person possible. And then, last but of course not least, is it's equally important to know who you will not work with. So, we focus so much as business owners on who we want as our clients, who are going to be our clients. I need more clients. I need more money. I need more and more. When really the focus should be on who do we not want and creating space for everyone that we do want in our lives and in our businesses. If we're able to narrow down of who we don't want, it creates such a clearer picture of who we actually do want to work with. Right. So even you'll start to see in some of our marketing as we go into our next open enrollment, which is actually starting next week, right? We're going into open enrollment. People will have an opportunity to fill out an application and be selected to join us in Speaking for Profit University. You will see a lot of language around who we don't want to work with. And this is because we're creating space for the people who really should be in this incubator and should be able to take their lives to the next level in building financial freedom. So, who we don't want, right? We don't want people who are tire kickers, who aren't ready to actually go out and start speaking and making money. Two, We don't want people who don't believe in the power of investing in themselves and who are still on the sidelines wondering what it would be like to get support. I want people who are coachable, willing to get support, and ready to get down with some of their fears, because it's very fearful getting out here, speaking, sharing your story, and also collecting money for it, right? It can be a very, very interesting, sometimes challenging transaction. So I don't want anyone who's afraid to be coached through some of the things that may be uncomfortable. I don't want anyone who expects me or anyone on my team or in my life to show up as perfect, because we are not perfect. We're consistently getting better. Our business, our university has only been around for a couple of years. So the feedback that we get from our current clients is really going to expand our growth. You are early investors and we expect you to act as so. So that means giving us feedback, being willing to work with us if we make mistakes, and really being willing to challenge us, but not expecting us to show up for perfect. And then I would say the other thing that I don't want is anyone who believes that they're just going to get paid quickly, right? Yes, when you get paid, it's nice. It's nice to get paid as a speaker and a consultant. Sometimes it comes in the thousands, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 at a time. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's moments where you'll be sitting there and you're trying to figure out your offer, who you're going to speak to. Maybe you burnt out and you need a break. There's other things that are involved in the business beyond just speaking, getting paid, and it being a transaction. Anytime you're creating impact and changing the world, you've got to know that it's going to take a process. And one of those processes is building the cash flow, building the strategies, and building the systems to be able to build a business that you don't just run, but that you run with a very small, mighty, amazing team. And that's what we support people with doing at Speaking for Profit University. We want to take you and be a lifelong support system for the growth of your business. Because if you're expecting to build a business that's going to be bringing 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 in consistently every month, it's not going to happen in just 90 days. I'm going to be real with you, right? It's probably going to take 2 to 3 years to really build something that's a machine and that consistent for you, that's going to pay out for you. And we are here to support you on the foundation of building that journey. We're not here to give you a get rich overnight type of scheme. That's just not what we're going to be able to do. So, those are the clients that I don't want to work with. So, if I'm able to put that out there, and I suggest you start to thinking about that, if you're able to put that out there for yourself, who you don't want to work with, naturally you attract the people who you truly do want to work with. So, these are my 7 steps that I took from this mastermind on 7 steps to 7 figures. And it's interesting to do this video. I'm doing it and I haven't hit 7 figures in my business, but when I do, I'm going to definitely utilize these steps to be able to build in a strategy that feels profitable, sustainable, and gives me the opportunity to get more financial and time freedom, right? That's the ultimate goal for this business. If you have tips, right? Maybe you're on the road to financial independence or freedom. Maybe you've already made 7 figures and you have a really great business and you want to share some tips that and strategies that you've used to build something that's profitable and build and sustainable. Please share them in the comments of this video. I would really appreciate it. If you're one of those folks who are watching this and you're like, I'm very interested in Speaking for Profit University, I want to learn how to get paid to speak on a consistent basis and build a sustainable business that pays me and allows me to take care of my friends, family, and loved ones, and take care of things that I want to, and pay off debt and travel, whatever you want to do with your wealth, then put a smile, just a smile emoji into the comments. We'll reach out to you. Right now, we have a wait list that you can join, but you'll be one of the first people to get an application for our spring cohort. And it would be an honor to review your application, accept you, and start to work with you. That would be really, really cool. If you are interested and if you are one of those people that I shouted out earlier, I don't want you if you're on the fence. I want you when you are ready, dedicated to invest in yourself and to invest in our community, right? Because it's not just about us giving to you, it's about what you're going to bring to our space. We have such an amazing group, and this is the reason that we have an application process. I'm dedicated to make sure that this space is a space for people who want to be there, who want to show up, who want to speak for prophecy, speak freedom, joy, and wealth into their lives. And that's why we have an application process. It's not just you give me your credit card and I give you a service. No, we're building a family and we're building a team. And that's the way that we are going to get down and build our wealth together. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited that we're going into open enrollment, right? And have an opportunity to help 25 to 30 diverse leaders really build a profitable, sustainable speaking and consulting, right? 'Cause some of our clients speak from stages and some of them speak from boardrooms, businesses in the next few months, right? Build the foundation of those businesses and then start to scale them by bringing in your own team. So we have a great team and I'm so excited to continue to work with our leaders, our speakers, and to work with you. So if that interests you, please let us know. I'll shoot you an application. You can fill it out and we can see if we're aligned to work together. This was a great conversation. This is something that I definitely want to lean more into. And I think I'll bring it to a formal discussion within the university. So at Speaking for Profit University, every Monday we have our business coaching calls, which are really cool. There are Monday momentum calls. Everyone who's enrolled in the university is allowed to attend. And every week I give the group a pro tip of the week. And I definitely want to include some of these strategies around getting to seven figures as our pro tips for the week so that folks can really start to not only position their money in the form of being a seven figure CEO, but really start to position their mindset around it because I think that that is so powerful and can really ease some of that anxiety and doubt for a lot of folks. So, thank you all for watching. I see some folks are saying I'd love to be a part of this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much for sharing, Marla. I really appreciate this. At this point, I'm both a tire kicker and working on facing those fears. Called out, haha. This was some good stuff and putting in me into aspirational headspace. Thank you. No problem. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the transparency. If you know you're a tire kicker, you're not a person that's not ready. What I want you all to know is that I do free trainings just like this all the time. I actually have a group. If you want to check it out, I'll actually put into the comments of this video. It's called the Wealthy Speaker and Consultant Society. We have about 25 trainings in that group. So there's more than enough free stuff there for someone who wants to just figure out and think to themselves, hey, is this for me? Is this something that I truly want to do? We've got a space for you as well, because I understand that it's not easy moving into the space when you're ready, right? But I only want people to complete our application and sign up for the university if they're ready, because we only have 25 spots. The reason that we do that is that we try to provide an intimate experience for growth, right? We want you to be able to be vulnerable, be yourself. And in order to do that, we can't have hundreds of people in our community, right? We really are dedicated to making sure that it's intimate, special, and a space where people can build profit and sustainability. So I appreciate y'all putting all the love in the comments. It really allows me to see the folks who are showing up in the space and to create more space for that. So I'm going to head out. I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. And like I said, if you have some tips, put them in the comments. And if you're interested, let me know. Marla, I'll be sure to send you over that link so that you can get signed up for their wait list and get your application in ASAP. All right, folks, have a good day. Thank you and peace.